Well, let's take a look at Barack Obama. What did he say? Now, this is something that Barack Obama said when the transition from George W. Bush was when the reins were being given over to him, and he said, "I felt quietly angry on his behalf. To protest a man in the final hour of his presidency seemed graceless and unnecessary. More generally, I was troubled by what these last-minute protests said about the divisions that were churning across the country and the weakening of whatever boundaries of decorum had once regulated politics." Now, before I move on from here, this brings to mind a lot of very interesting things that happen to be going on right now. One, I would say that it almost seems like Barack Obama is more of a cheerleader for people protesting against Trump at this point in Trump's political career, where it looks like he may be losing. So what is that? Is that, again, the sore winner calculation that he's making there? I don't know, because he doesn't seem very angry at this moment. So with all these protests happening against Trump, I really don't see anyone speaking against the protesters. I do see them speaking against what we see happening with Trump demonstrators being out there. Now, there was a news conference yesterday, because I'm early in the morning right now. This guy said it's basically Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and a few others versus a massive swarm on the other side. This is like the movie 300. A few Spartans in a narrow pass against thousands of caterwauling Persians. My money is on the Spartans. Hashtag election 2020 results. I also see that someone is moving forward on a Section 230 lawsuit in the Supreme Court of the United States, and that's excellent news for anyone that is into free speech, because right now our free speech is under attack. Julian Assange has been in prison still for years, more than a decade, and it's just, he's a father and a son, and he's a husband, and he should be free. This guy had something interesting to say. He said, "I feel like our society has separated into two groups. One group that says, 'Leave me alone and I'll leave you alone.' And the other group that says, 'Obey me or else.'" Now, I wouldn't say that this obey me or else group really can be defined as either Democrat or Republican, but the leave me alone and I'll leave you alone crowd definitely seems to be primarily on the right, and primarily among people that are independent or contrarians, or as I like to say, just people that have made a movement toward autonomy when it comes to their politics. In Pennsylvania, this is an interesting quote from Professor Miller, and Professor Miller is someone that I always, every time he says anything, he's usually right about it. Let's take a look at his letter here. The analysis was performed on a data set provided by Matt Brainard and the firm Election Data Services. Estimate of ballots requested in the name of a registered Republican by someone other than that person, 40,400 I'm sorry, 40,875 to 53,909. Estimate of Republican ballots that the requester returned but were not counted, 48,522 to 44,823. These go in the opposite order as the previous if more ballots are requested by someone other than the registered voter. That means there are fewer ballots left than we estimate were correctly returned. Thus, that number of ballots that were either requested by someone other than the registered Republican or requested and returned but not counted range from 89,397 to 98,801. Doing a more detailed analysis with confidence intervals, I estimate that almost surely, based on the data I've received, that the number of ballots requested by someone other than the registered Republican is between 37,001 and 58,914, and almost surely the number of ballots requested by registered Republicans and returned but not counted is in the range from 38,910 to 56,483. Now, Professor Stephen Miller is he's a professor of mathematics, and he's someone that a lot of people look up to when it comes to his evaluation of politics. And I was saying earlier today that when the Democrats embraced Guaido from Venezuela as the interim president, and they called Venezuela election of Maduro illegitimate, then they told us to trust the same voting software Venezuela used. They defeated themselves. They played themselves, and I really feel like they're falling into a trap that they've made themselves. And I don't know what else to say. lot of funny memes going on right now. Let's take a look at these lockdowns and see how they're working over in California. Alright, so widespread purple, substantial burgundy, orange for moderate, and minimal is in the yellow. Well, it looks like most of California has turned purple, and we know that California had mask mandates, and while some people may argue that no one is obeying the mask mandates, when you look at other states that didn't have mask mandates, their numbers are not quite as high as the numbers in the states that actually do have mask mandates. However, I have noted that there has been a little bit of tipping of the scales here, because now they are testing more in those states that had lower numbers, and they're testing less in the states that have higher numbers. So that should make everything look just as they want it to, I believe. Let's take a look at this tweet from Dan Price. Amazon profit, it's up 100%. Walmart profit is up 80%. Target profit up 80%. Lowe's profit up 74%. Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, Google stock at record high. Small businesses 21% closed. Revenue for the rest down 30%. They're going to go extinct in the lockout without help. This is going to contribute to the death nails of the middle class. That's what we are seeing. And I don't know if any of you have heard about the Great Reset. the World Economic Forum was talking about it. And if you haven't looked into the World Economic Forum's statements on the Great Reset, you definitely should study that. Just look it up on the web. The World Economic Forum is right there for you to see exactly what they say. Basically, what they're saying is they're trying to make a move toward this great reset of our society where we can fix the climate and get rid of COVID. And to achieve this, all we have to do is give up on the desire to own things and just, rent everything and get UBI from them. And pretty soon, basically, we'll just be completely subservient to them. We'll own nothing. And then they'll have won. That's the goal of the Great Reset, for people to accept being completely complacent to the establishment, listening to every dictate that the media has. They call us all conspiracy theorists. What I've noticed about conspiracy theorists is that conspiracy theorists always get called that because they have found something to be true that is too hard for people to believe. And then there is the opposite of that, which is what we see quite a lot of in society, and that is the complicity theorist. And the complicity theorist will embrace every single edict that comes from the mainstream media. They will push all of the mainstream media's craziest theories and tell everyone to shut up and accept the censorship that we're all being subjected to right now. These complicity theorists can be left, they could be right, but if you're like me and you're looking around, you might see who is more responsible at this moment for the desire to have more censorship. So the conclusion would be that the right at this point is actually fighting against censorship.